Morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Chamber Life. It's the 30th of March. It's my daughter's 30th birthday today, so I'm feeling really, really old, even older than normal, actually, to be quite honest. But anyway, there we go. It's the passage of time. But welcome, everybody. Hopefully, the sun is shining where you are, expecting some really hot temperatures during the course of today, which always makes things feel an awful lot better in people's minds when the sun's out instead of some of the grey clag and cloud and things that we've had recently. So it's great to see everyone here today. Just a few things. Normal Zoom rules apply, please. If you can mute your microphones and we won't get any sort of funny noises going off in the background. If you've got any questions or any comments, we've got the chat facility that's there, so please type things in as we go through today's event, and we'll try and pick up and go through as many as we possibly can. Obviously, this event, we've been running these now all through the course of the pandemic. We'll probably come up to the first anniversary, actually, probably in a month or so's time of doing this. And it's great to see so many people, new people joining us, as well as some old familiar favourites as well, to join us today. And the idea really is to just go through a quick overview of some of the new benefits and services and some of the existing benefits and services we've got for members, and to talk about some of the things that's happening in the business community as well. So we'll be done sometime between 10:30 and 11:15. So we'll get that done in that time. We are recording it. We do put this out as in the form of a podcast, and we also put it up on our YouTube channel as well. So if there's anything you've missed or you want to listen to again, you can do that through one of those channels. So anyway, I want to start off by, first of all, setting the scene, really. And last week we had our first quarterly economic survey for Q1 report launched, and things are looking a little bit better than they were. Our Greater Manchester Index, which is the index that shows what the strength of the local economy is doing in Greater Manchester, was finished the year, Q4, at -20. But at the end of Q1, it's gone up to +6. So there's been a bit of a turnaround there. And a lot more businesses are saying now that they're seeing increased sales, increased demand going forward. Things are still struggling a little bit on the international side of it, and we'll come back to that later on today. That's going to be a reoccurring theme, I think, over the next few months. But we are now entering a phase where we're beginning to see what Subru, who's on leave this week, our head of research, has described as a W-shaped recovery. So at the end of last year, halfway through last year, things, about 12 months ago, really went down drastically. They improved a little bit, then went down again on the back of this latest lockdown, but they started to come up again as well. So we're beginning to see this W-shaped recovery. Where it goes to after that, we're not entirely sure, but this is so important that when the next Q2 quarterly economic survey comes out, people fill it in, then we've really got our finger on the pulse of what's going on. And it is important because I was on an event a couple of weeks ago with Andy Burnham and people like that, and government ministers, and it's great to be able to tell them exactly what's going on in the business community here. So it's so important we get responses like that. So that's just a rough overview as where we are. And like I said, over the next few months, it's important we keep tabs on where things are and the views of business as we go forward. One thing that we do offer to our members is a range of support services and benefits around things that businesses need. And one of the things that will impact on how firms reopen up again is, around things around, for example, legal issues and especially around employment and one thing and another, because things are considerably different. So what I'd like to do is invite Harriet Jackson, membership executive, to join us. And we do have a service, don't we, that's free to members that covers a range of things like that, called Chamber Protect. So what exactly is Chamber Protect?
Hi, Chris. Good morning, everyone. Yes, so Chamber Protect is both an advice line and an online portal. It covers business support services from HR, legal, health and safety, and VAT and tax. It is employer focused. So, for example, if you're requiring assistance with the furlough scheme, businesses can either call the helpline to speak with one of the consultants there and to access that one-to-one support, or they can access the document library where they have COVID-related templates. It's worth noting that the HR advice line is open 24/7. So if there is an urgency, you can access that support at any time of the day, I suppose, in the middle of the night if you need to. Even if businesses are already covered for their HR support already, though, or something similar along the lines of you've already got that legal protection, it is a useful platform to get a second opinion. So it can be used as an extension of your existing team or as a support to that team as well.
Okay, it's really good and very, very good comprehensive service. Is there a cost to any of this?
So to do with the cost, Chamber Protect is included as part of the membership, so there is no additional cost to members. And this does include the unlimited access to the advice lines. Majority of these do operate 24/7. I think the one that doesn't is the VAT and tax one, and that's available during normal working hours. So it's pretty accessible as and when you do need it. There are also unlimited downloads on the portal. And these include things like policy templates, procedures, and letters. It is useful for cost saving because individually these will cost around £250 if businesses wanted to access these if they weren't a member. But obviously they are free for chamber members. The only difference is that Quest can give a full bespoke HR audit at a discounted cost for members, but the basic advice and the templates and the helplines are all available to them, to members of the Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. And I guess one of the things is that obviously everyone's doing different things now, 12 months on throughout COVID. And you mentioned briefly there about how some of the services changed slightly. What else has changed in respect of, how has it evolved, especially over the last few months, really in response to what's been going on?
Yeah, I'd say over the past year, we've seen a real focus from businesses needing support on the job support scheme, furlough, and also how to deal with HR changes that have come with the pandemic, unfortunately. Aside from the regular advice line and document support, members can access Quest have also started offering free virtual one-to-ones to help support any challenges our members may be facing. The service is entirely confidential, and it's received excellent feedback so far, so that there is no sort of worries about anything that you're talking about leaving outside of that conversation. Just another point to end on: if businesses are struggling with changes to VAT, tax, and duties because of Brexit changes, Quest are also able to give advice on this and answer any questions that businesses may have. Obviously, since January, things have changed a lot, so businesses are needing a little bit of help just getting used to things that have come up.
Yeah, I can well imagine it. There's a lot changed in January, to be quite honest, and we'll come back to that in a short while. I suppose last thing to ask, Harry, is obviously there may be members on here today that we aren't quite sure how to access the service. How do we actually get hold and access the service? And Sharon's just put a point in the chat box as if by magic, completely on cue. So how can members access the service and really get benefit from it?
Yeah, so you can either call into the chamber, and I'll put the number in the chat box below. You can also email benefits@gmchamber.co.uk, which I will also include in the chat box. I'll also put my email in there, so if you do want to get in touch to access it, drop me an email. I'll send over your personal login details, and then you can take it from there. So I hope that's sort of answered all the questions that you've got.
Yeah, that's excellent. And again, there's some links just gone in the website as well. And again, it's because it is member only service or whatever. Obviously, there are certain things, restrictions that we do have to put on there. Then we don't get everyone joining in and swamping the service as well. But it is also obviously, as you can imagine, a very, very popular service as well. It's also one of the things that we've got that, again, we've got to keep it, bubbling at the surface from time to time, just to remind people, these are the things that a lot of businesses are facing more so than ever now. These day-to-day little problems and hitches that you may get that really hold things up, that you just want to speak to somebody about, an expert, and it's there for you. As you said, in some cases, 24/7. So please don't suffer in silence. Get in touch and we can point you in the right direction. Harriet, thank you so much for joining us today. Harriet's extremely busy, all right, on the front line, dealing with member queries and all sorts of things coming through at the present moment in time. But it's one of our team on the membership side. So thank you, Harriet, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Just moving on, I mean, what we've mentioned there quite a bit around COVID, and obviously one of the other big things that's happening at present and will potentially impact on the recovery. And again, we started off talking about where the local economy, but one of the things that could impact that isn't COVID related is obviously something we have talked about quite a bit on here. Virtually every time we come on Chamber Live now, we mention issues around Brexit. And I'm not sure whether it's getting any easier or not, but there's been some activity now put in place and more support from government that the Chamber's managed to access and pass on to members. So what I'd like to do now is ask Susanna Cordoba to join us. Susanna's our Head of International Trade and a regular on here now. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, Susanna. I suppose with Brexit, it's probably a good thing, but hopefully we've got some good news for people today. So the government's announced some financial support for businesses trading with the EU. Can you explain a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, so I think we are pleased about seeing this new grant because obviously, as you rightly put it, in the last few months, we've seen a lot of companies struggling with more requiring detailed advice. So this new grant is fantastic because it kind of helps companies with training, which helps them to upskill the workforce with, everything regarding the new rules. Things have changed for exporting and importing, so they can access this grant to pay for those costs. More especially is the ability to pay for consultancy services, so more tailored, specific advice. We have companies with very specific business models, triangular trade models. So this grant is fantastic, as it will help them to access that specialized advice. It's up to £2,000. It has to be used until the end of June at the latest. So what we've done is we created a series of packages to meet the criteria of this grant, and companies can access both training and a consultancy or a bundle of those two.
Okay, and so how can businesses actually use the grant with the Chamber? I presume they get access to people we work with to help them along?
Yeah, so we have a series of training courses. We also have a number of external associates, people specialized in a number of areas on a special customs procedure, rules of origin, that can access, and companies can access that on hourly basis, on bundles. They can do an audit, a pre or a full day audit. So it's there for accessing that specialized advice. We know that some people have been trying to use HMRC, but they won't be able to give you that special tailored advice for your specific business. So this is here, and we're ready to help with the new packages.
Okay, Sharon's put a question on there saying, is the training just for Chamber members, or is it any business?
Any business.
Okay, and that's
everything
important.
is open for anyone.
Absolutely, because we do a lot of stuff, especially on the export docs for non-Chamber members really, who need to access that service and everything. And I suppose at a time like this, we need to get that help and support out to as many people as possible, really. Just on a wider issue, and again, we've covered this a few times on these events, but what are the main challenges that businesses are coming to the Chamber for support on since the change in January? Have we seen any sort of trends beginning to appear on questions that get asked a little bit more often than others?
Yeah, I think now that kind of the dust is kind of settling a bit, we're seeing, the rules of origin continue to be a major issue of confusion, of requirement for adaptation for companies, triangular trade business models. So the UK used to be a key distribution hub for Europe, but now that we are out of the EU and not being able to tap into the VAT triangulation benefits, that has really hit some businesses and has actually, led them to rethink the whole model. Some thinking we have to relocate to somewhere in Europe to avoid all this red tape and costs. And some simply are just kind of trying to survive. And some have reported that they are at risk of losing some of those customers. And we are seeing a lot of companies with goods stock overseas and customs. And we are seeing a recurring theme is that they don't know why. And in theory, they are meeting all the, the criteria, the proof of origin, but still their goods are stocked somewhere in Poland or Spain or Austria, and they are not getting the information from either their customers, custom broker, what are the reasons behind that. So we are working with a number of them alongside VIT and HMRC and see how we can help. And also, to some extent, this can become a barrier trade that needs to be reported. So it can be a bit of some of the European counterparts not being ready and not putting things in place for this. And the other one is customs authorities and the EU are also having their own spin and interpretation of the customs rules.
Yeah. I've spoken to a few members about that, where they've got goods held up in customs offices and they're interpreting the rules in their own unique way, really, which isn't ideal. There's a link just gone up from Susanna in the chat box with the web address for the support. And Samir asked about whether it's just for GM businesses. It's not. It's a UK-wide grant as well. And I guess this is so important. If anybody was on the quarterly economic briefing last Friday, we had a member on who was hitting these exact same problems around the rules of origin and Incoterms and things like that. And he had goods that have been manufactured that have been basically sat on the factory floor for 2 weeks, not being able to go anywhere. That's cash. That is literally cash sat there right in front of him, not being able to get out the door. And once they do get out the door, of course, then it goes into a bit of a lottery as to whether or not you're going to get them through at the other end. And that might sound very trite and very glib, but that's basically what many people are experiencing a problem. It'd be interesting to see if there's going to be any sort of issues around what's been going on in the Suez Canal this week either, as well, with things, because one thing you don't want to be doing at the present moment in time is interrupting that flow of trade even more. And obviously that has been quite drastic, what's been going on there this week. But hopefully that's at least one blockage that's been cleared. Unfortunately, the rest of it, which seems to be self-imposed to a huge amount, is still in place. But please make use, have a look at that grant if you are getting stuck with any of these issues. Tell people about it as well. We're getting this message out to as many people as possible. The money is there, some HMRC, and we can help people. And these are the real, like I said, it's a bit like the previous conversation with Harriet. These are the day-to-day things that are really gumming up the system at present and really holding businesses back. So the help is there. Please get in touch. Susanna's going to stay on because one of the other final subject that we're going to talk about today is a big opportunity, actually, which is good news, because while it's mustn't get downcast with the doom and gloom, and let's match the sunny weather we've got. Let's look at some opportunities, and this is another subject that we've discussed previously on Chamber Live, probably about 7 or 8 months ago, I think it was now, and it's about the EU FAMBES project. Which is partially funded by the EU. Can you tell us, Susanna, a little bit about this project? Because while we are now out of the EU, there's obviously projects like this still around, which you got the funding for beforehand, which could really help businesses. So can you just explain a little bit more about the FAMBES project?
Yeah, so we are one of the partners here in the UK, and the project is about promoting entrepreneurship and helping SMEs or startups to scale up any innovative projects within the blue economy. So anything related to how best use the maritime resources in a more innovative, cost-effective, and sustainable way. So the project has a wide range of activities, and we are about to launch a new one, which is the one I wanted to talk to you about today.
Okay, yeah. So new activities, yeah.
So we have coaching, is the new coaching network activity, and we're gonna be selecting 7 innovative projects, and that can be from individual with an innovative project or an SME, a startup in general, that are keen to get that project into a successful business venture. So they will receive personalized coaching advice individually and in group sessions to help them to kind of form that project idea, getting it into the market, and that will also involve how to access to finance and just general business advice. And we're working with the University of Exeter on that one. There is a deadline, it's 11th of April. We'll send the link on how to apply. But if you know of any company or individual with a really good project that just needs that kind of push and help to get that off the ground, then this will be amazing. This will be a great opportunity, and it's free of charge. It's just about the commitment of time, obviously, to access that coaching advice.
Okay. And again, use the phrase there, the blue economy. We hear a lot about the green economy, but there's also the blue economy as well, which is connected to, maritime related businesses. And we don't just mean fishing, trawler fleets or anything. There's a huge range of support businesses and other sectors that are involved in this. And it's also it's a European wide project as well, isn't it, FanBest? It covers the whole of the
transatlantic area.
Yeah.
So we have all the transatlantic, which will cover Scotland, Wales, North, West, South, West, and we have Portugal and Spain as well. So all those projects, and as I said, only 7 projects will be selected, and we hope that there will be one representing the Northwest region, hopefully.
Okay, and the way companies can apply for it, there's a link just gone into the chat. So,
yeah. So just follow the link there, and if any questions, I'll just drop my email for any questions.
Okay, that's superb. We'll share these links after the event as well. But again, a great opportunity there, and it is like I said, it's not just a one-off little project. This is a major piece of work that, like I said, it's probably been pushed a little bit into the background with everything else that's been going on. But again, what we've got to do now is make sure that we get these opportunities out to businesses, and then they can build on this recovery phase to make sure that they're taking all these opportunities going forward. So hopefully that will interest somebody. Susanna, thank you very much. And again, I really appreciate your time at a ridiculously busy period in this. It will slow down at some stage, hopefully, but obviously there's quite a bit of work that's needed before then to make sure people really do get up to speed with what they need to do. And also, to be quite honest, government gets its act together a little bit more as well in getting that advice out to people and making sure that businesses are fully prepared for what is going on with all that. So thank you, Susanna, and well done on yourself and the team there as well for keeping the wheels going of commerce in Greater Manchester. It's great to see. So that concludes our sort of formal chats. If anybody's got any questions, it is your last sort of chance in the chat box or anything, any comments about anything you've heard today. Like I said, there's been quite a bit of information there. Really big focus again on the Chamber Protect bit, which is quite important to make sure that if you're bringing staff back into the workplace after being on furlough, or you've got any sort of problems at all, may have arisen through something to do with contracts over the last 12 months that need looking at or whatever, there's help and support there. And there's obviously help and support there as well if you're really getting bogged down in the whole range of new rules and things that's come on the back of Brexit on the 1st of January, and also some opportunities as well for taking your business forward. So a couple of things just to note. We've got an event tomorrow morning called Faster Britain, which is around digital infrastructure, looking at how particular schemes are being rolled out throughout Greater Manchester and how businesses can play a part in that. Obviously, the whole digital infrastructure bit is really under the microscope at present, because even if people, once people do start going back to the office, quite certain there'll still be an element of remote working, Zoom calls and team calls, etc., still carrying on. So that event tomorrow is looking at what businesses should be thinking about going forward. Next week, we've got networking. So next Tuesday is our regular Tuesday networking event. Chamber Live returns on the 13th of April. That's in 2 weeks' time. And we've also got the Merle Hustings event on the 20th of April, which obviously is coming up ahead of the mayoral election on the 6th of May for Greater Manchester Mayor. We've got Andy Burnham confirmed. We've got a couple of the other candidates confirmed, and hopefully we'll get a full turnout there by all the main party candidates for the election. So that's on the 20th of April. So look out for more details on that, and this gives you the opportunity to ask the candidates as well what they'll be doing if they get elected for yourself, your business, and for Greater Manchester. The events brief will be coming out later today with details of all those events on. All that remains for me to say is thank you very much once again for joining us. Look out for the YouTube, look out for the podcast, and please tell people about these events, and also tell people about what we can do for them to support business through Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine if you can, and look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thanks very much for joining us.